There are moments in tennis when reaching the quarterfinals should feel like a reward. A deep run at a Masters 1000 event, in front of packed crowds, on one of the sport's most iconic stages. That usually means confidence is high and momentum is building. But for Andrey Rublev, that feeling lasted only until he learned who was waiting for him next. And the reaction he gave said everything. Instead of celebrating, Rublev admitted something many players probably think but rarely say out loud. He would have preferred anyone else. Not because he is afraid to compete, but because the man standing across the net next is arguably the most dangerous player in the world right now, Jannik Sinner. And when Rublev spoke about that matchup, his honesty instantly caught attention. The Russian star had just fought his way into the quarterfinals of the Italian Open, but his post-match mood was not exactly full of joy. During his interview, when asked about facing Sinner, Rublev gave an answer that was surprisingly direct and refreshingly human. He did not try to act fearless. He did not hide behind cliches. He simply admitted that, yes, if given the choice, he would rather face someone else. But at the same time, he also welcomed the challenge. That is what makes this matchup so fascinating. On one side, you have a player who knows the odds are against him. On the other, you have a player who looks almost unbeatable right now. And because this match is happening in Rome, on Italian soil, the pressure around Sinner is reaching another level entirely. Sinner has become the center of the tennis world in 2026. It feels like every tournament he enters, he ends up holding the trophy. Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid, the titles keep piling up. He is riding a remarkable 26-match winning streak overall, and even more impressively, a 31-match winning streak at ATP Masters events. That number ties a streak once achieved by none other than Novak Djokovic, which tells you exactly how extraordinary this run has been. And that is why Rublev's reaction made so much sense. He was not exaggerating. He was being realistic. Facing Sinner right now is like stepping in front of a moving train and hoping it suddenly slows down. Still, Rublev is not walking into this match without reasons to believe. His own run in Rome has been strong. Quietly, while most of the headlines have followed Sinner, Rublev has been putting together some excellent tennis on clay. He arrived in the Italian capital with confidence after a solid clay season and has looked sharp in the early rounds. His wins over Miomir Kekmanovic and Alejandro Davidovich Fokina were straight-set performances that showed control and maturity. He was striking the ball cleanly, staying aggressive, and handling the slower clay conditions better than many expected. But the real test came in the fourth round against Nicolas Basilashvili, and that match revealed something important about Rublev heading into this quarterfinal. He nearly lost. The first set slipped away, and for stretches of the second, he looked uncomfortable. His movement was not smooth. His serve was shaky. Basilashvili was hitting freely, taking risks, and forcing Rublev into rushed errors. When Rublev went down 0-2 in the second set, it looked like his tournament might be over. That is when something changed. Instead of collapsing, Rublev reset. The frustration that often hurts him did not take over. He stayed in the rallies, trusted his forehand, and gradually pushed Basilashvili backward. It was not an instant turnaround. It was slow, built point by point, game by game. But once the momentum shifted, Rublev took complete control. After the match, he admitted that luck played a part in the comeback. Again, it was a remarkably honest assessment. Many players would talk only about fighting spirit or tactical adjustments. Rublev acknowledged that sometimes tennis turns on small moments, and he was fortunate that this one turned in his favor. That self-awareness is one of the reasons fans connect with him. Rublev can be emotional, intense, even unpredictable, but he rarely hides what he feels. And ahead of this meeting with Sinner, that honesty adds another layer to the story. Because make no mistake, Rublev knows his history against elite opponents. Against top 5 players, his record has often been a problem. He has struggled to consistently break through against the very best. The power is there, the athleticism is there, but in the biggest matches, he has often found himself a step behind. Against Sinner specifically, the head-to-head is not encouraging. They have already met 10 times, and Sinner leads 7 wins to 3. That matters. In tennis, repeated losses can create a psychological barrier. Every player talks about starting fresh each match, but memories do not disappear. When one opponent has beaten you again and again, especially when that opponent is currently in the form of his life, it can creep into the mind. For Rublev, the challenge is not just technical. It is mental. He has to convince himself that this is not the same old story. He has to believe that the player who reached the Barcelona final, the player who battled back in Rome, and the player who has already won 8 clay matches this season can actually trouble Sinner. And perhaps that belief is not impossible. Clay can change everything. It slows the game down, extends rallies, and gives aggressive baseliners more chances to grind. Rublev's forehand, when firing, can be one of the most destructive shots on tour. If he finds rhythm early and avoids the emotional swings that sometimes derail him, he can absolutely make this a battle. But the problem is that Sinner is not just winning. He is making top players look ordinary. That has been the most impressive part of his 2026 season. It is not only the streak, it is the manner of the victories. He has been ruthless. Opponents come in with plans, confidence, and strong recent form, and within an hour or two, they are walking off court looking completely outclassed. At home in Rome, Sinner's level may be even higher. The crowd energy has been massive. Every point he wins feels like a football stadium erupting. The support has become a weapon. For any opponent, that atmosphere can feel suffocating. For Rublev, it means he will be facing not just the hottest player in the world, but an entire nation backing him. That is why this quarterfinal has such intrigue. It is not simply a favorite versus an underdog. It is a test of whether Rublev can finally produce one of those statement wins that change how people view his career. He has had flashes before. He has beaten elite names. He has shown he belongs near the top. But moments like this are what define players. A win over Sinner in Rome, ending the streak on this stage, that would instantly become one of the biggest victories of Rublev's career. And maybe that is why his admission mattered so much. He did not pretend this was just another match. He acknowledged the challenge, the fear, the respect, and the opportunity all at once. That kind of honesty is rare in professional sports, where players often speak in rehearsed phrases. Rublev made it personal. He showed that even at the highest level, players still feel pressure, doubt, and nerves. For fans, that makes the matchup even more compelling. We know Sinner is the favorite. We know the numbers lean heavily in his direction. But tennis is never played on paper. One hot start, one crowd shift, one break of serve, and suddenly everything changes. Rublev will walk onto that court carrying the weight of history against him. Sinner will walk on carrying the expectations of an entire country. One player is chasing another milestone in a dream season. The other is chasing the kind of upset that can redefine a year. And that is why this match feels bigger than a quarterfinal. Can Rublev shock the tennis world and stop the hottest player on tour? Or will Sinner continue his unstoppable march and move one step closer to the Rome title that Italy desperately wants to see him win? Let me know your prediction in the comments. Is Rublev about to pull off the upset? Or is Sinner simply too strong right now?